Well, good evening everyone and welcome to the Rush Green Stadium. I'm Dean Kilford and I'm delighted to have Development and Pathways Manager Mark Phillips alongside me for this evening's Premier League 2 match between West Ham United and Brighton Hove Albion. Well, it's now 3 wins on the spin for the Young Hammers in all competitions, including the 3-0 win here last Friday against Birmingham. But today will be a real test against 4th place Brighton, who had the best defence in the Premier League 2 last season and have started this season in the same vein with just 2 goals conceded. It's not just in defence we have to be concerned, though. Albion have already scored 11 in their 4 PL2 games, with Shane and T scoring 3. He, alongside defender Charlie Tasker, were both nominated for August's Player of the Month. Well, West Ham came out on top at the start of last season, the last time these two teams met. A late Amika Adiele goal sealed a 2-0 win deep in added time, despite being down to 10 men for the final 20 minutes of the game. Well, we've got the team news in, and let's go through those two teams, starting with the home side, West Ham United. In goal for them, brand new signing. We're pleased to welcome Tom Worcester to the club. He had a fine debut in his trial game against Birmingham, kept a clean sheet last time out. Number 2 is Ryan Battram. Number 3 is Rayan Ayabade. Number 4, Preston Fearon. Number 5, captain for this evening, Eriadis Golambekis. Number 6, Ezra Mayers. Number 7, Jeffrey Medine. Number 8, Mohamedou Kante. Number 9, Josh Landers. Number 10, Gabriel Caliste. And number 11, Amike Adiele. The substitutes for West Ham United, Andre Dike, Reece Byrne, another new signing, another new goalkeeper, the Irish under-19 international, signed today alongside Tom Worcester. Number 14, Tyrone Akpata. Number 15, Alicia Suwanmi. And number 16, Lewis Brown. Well, the Brighton Hove Albion team for this evening, a goal for them is Nils Ramming. Number 2, Benjamin Barkley. Number 3, Sean Keogh. Number 4, captain Freddie Simmons. Number 5, Bigo Atom. Number 6, Joe Knight. Number 7, Nemaya Areola. Number 8, Joshua Robertson. Number 9, Joe Belmont. Number 10, Harry Howell. And number 11, Shane and T. The subs for Brighton, Yusuf Owusu, Sebastian Jensen, Tyler Silsby, Callum Mackley and Harry Mills. Well, I do have Mark alongside me this evening. It's a fresh one tonight. It's going to be a good one, but it's going to be a challenge, Mark, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always a challenging game of football. West Ham Brighton, if I remember over the years, the last 21 games we've had have always been competitive. If I remember last year, as you say, West Ham won 2-0 and they was like, Brighton was in the ascendancy for a lot of the game second half, and West Ham, I wouldn't say they was sitting parking the bus, but they was playing on the counter attack and done well to get a 2-0 scoreline. I think looking at the West Ham lineup is the lineup that I know. I think we're going to play with 3 centre halves, 2 wing backs, 3 midfield and 2 up top. The way I look at it, I haven't had that confirmed from Potsy or Robbo, but that's the way it looks. But I think it's normally a good game for the purist under 21s game, West Ham Brighton, and I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, and this West Ham side, there's a couple of key names not in the starting 11 for us this evening. Do you think that's in mind with potentially for the first team or another reason?
I hope and I'd like to think it was for the first team, because it's 4 days time before West Ham go to Everton on Monday night, so I can't see any reason why Callum Marshall, George Urphy are not included here, Freddie Potts, so maybe there is some first team either on the bench or some first team work for them. I'd like to think so, being an academy employee myself.
And that's the beauty about West Ham, the long history with the academy going up. I mean, you know yourself, is it 15 years or so you've been involved for under 18s before taking on this new role?
I've actually been at the club 19, but I was involved with the under 18s for about 10. You're aging me, you don't need to age me. Everyone knows I'm 63, nearly 64. But yeah, that we are known as the Academy of Football, and we're all about trying to get players into the first team. That's what it's about.
Well, West Ham have a good record at this level against the Seagulls. We mentioned the 2-0 victory at the start of last season. They've met just 7 times at this level, and West Ham have won 6 of them. Does that surprise you?
It does. It really does, because I can never remember. I can remember games against Brighton when I've been doing the commentary the last couple of years, when Brighton have been a really good side, and West Ham sort of been hanging on to stay in the game. I'm surprised that West Ham have won, because also, I travel in my job when the 21s play away, and I remember us winning, I think it might have been the start of last season down at the Amex training centre winning there 2-0. I think I don't remember us winning 6 out of 7. It's a nice stat to have, and I hope that continues tonight without being biased, as I say I am.
No, we wouldn't be biased here at all, and we are bringing you live commentary of West Ham under-21s versus Brighton Hove Albion under-21s as the teams make their way out onto the pitch. It's always a glorious game between two sides that like to play football, and that's what we want to see, and we thank you very much for joining us here on this live feed this evening. So as the players make their way out, we'll just run through the two teams quickly one more time. For West Ham United, it's a big day for Tom Worcester. Made his debut on trial last week against Birmingham, kept a clean sheet, and that's earned him a development contract which he signed alongside the substitute Rhys Byrne, the Irish under-19 international. Two goalkeepers signed by West Ham United today, and that's probably because the other goalkeepers in the squad have been loaned out elsewhere, so there's going to be plenty to choose from in the future.
Yeah, they've been loaned out and they're getting minutes in men's football. I mean, Finn Eric's at Boreham Wood and Mason Terry's at Braintree, both regularly keeping clean sheets, doing well week in, week out, and then that's what it is. I mean, you can never have too many good goalkeepers who you want to push up and train and play with the first team. So, Billy Lepine, the academy goalkeeping coach, has done a good job, and maybe one day we'll see him in the sticks for the first team.
Certainly, that's hope. We've seen Areola come up from this level to the first side and first team, and he's just regained his place in the first team starting 11. So there's a history of that, and likewise the likes of Ryan Battram, Ryan Oyebade, Preston Fearon, Ariadis Golombekis, Ezra Mayers, Jeffro Medine, Mohamedou Kante, who's been likened to a young Yaya Toure. I don't know about your thoughts of that, the number 8 for West Ham. What do you reckon?
I think that's putting a lot of pressure on the young lad, but I can see why people say, he's sort of... I'm going to put even more pressure on him, and so I think he's a bit more like Patrick Vieira, but obviously miles and miles and miles away from being the real Patrick Vieira. But he's that sort of style. He's all over the place, covers every blade of grass in midfield. He's got a nice eye for goal, breaks up the play, can pass it as well. He could be one who just with his physical stature as well, could be in Graham Potter's faults. I'm not sure. I wonder if Graham Potter's here tonight, an under-21s game against his old club. Or definitely one of his coaching staff, or maybe all of his coaching staff are here watching. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that'd be quite interesting, actually. I mean, I know he's not too well favoured back at Brighton, given the way that he left to go to Chelsea, but that's another story for another day. So looking at the forward players as well, Josh Landers, Gabriel Caliste and Amika Adieli. He's someone that's had an eye for goal this season, 3 so far in all competitions. Is he someone to look out for the future?
Do you mean Adeli Amika? Yeah. I mean, he has got exceptional pace. He really is. I like him coming from a slightly deeper area when he runs into play, and he does just blister past something. With Josh Landers, you've got an out-and-out throwback, old-fashioned sort of centre forward who would make it quite uncomfortable. He's got a good eye for goal. He can finish, Josh, as well. He'd make it quite uncomfortable for the Brighton centre-backs. He'd ruffle a few feathers, I can assure you of that.
Well, it is going to be West Ham to kick off with Josh Landers, and you may notice that the Brighton player is wearing a black armband today, and that's in honour of young Billy Vigor, who sadly lost his life following an incident at a game playing for Chichester City away at Wingate and Finchley last weekend. Got induced into a coma on Tuesday, and despite some life treatments, saving operations, they couldn't, and he sadly passed away. So Brighton paying tribute to him this evening. So the football community also passed our well wishes on to him, his family, and all associated with Chichester City. Anyway, on to the game. Anything you'd like to make a note of that? No,
I'm glad you told me that, because I've seen lots of things get brick walls away from football. I didn't understand what it meant. Is it something to do with a brick wall then, was it? All right.
Unfortunately, it collided. There was a brick wall in Wingate and Finchley. It collided head first. It happened with Alex Fletcher for Bath City a few years ago as well. And thankfully, the FA have added an inquest into the safety of pitches at non-league level, which obviously we see our academy players playing at that level. So it's an important fact that does bear reference and relevance to the players that are playing this afternoon. It's been a relatively scrappy start to this game as both teams try and get an early foothold in it. West Ham will look to build up through the back, and there's an early touch for the skipper, Gollum Beckis, wearing the armbands this evening, ahead of Preston Fearon, who we believe was going to be captain today. There's a clip from Joshua Robertson. There's a first sighting of Jeffro Medine. As West Ham work the ball into midfield. They're likely to try and take the sting out of the game. Brighton have started quickly. They've scored plenty of goals in their first 4 games, averaging nearly 3 a game. Add that to the 6 they added in the trophy game as well. No mean feat in front of goal, although West Ham themselves have won their last 3 in all competitions, including the big victory against MK Dons.
Yeah, I think I stated earlier that night was a great result, playing away at a league team and winning 5-1, but we was at our probably strongest we could be as a 21 side, with Freddie Potts, Callum Marshall, George Urphy, the likes of those in the side. So it's nice to change the team around, and this would probably be mostly our starting lineup for the 21s this season. Although we started this game in quite a good vein, moving the ball well, and on the ball there, Ryan Batcher, I'd like to pick him out because he's played in several positions this year. He's played up front on the left, up front on the right, in midfield. He's played everywhere, and now he's playing at right back. Just shows you, I won't call him a utility player, but how useful he can be to the side moving around.
Is that so important at this level to have that versatility as a player, or is it about trying to solidify one position and make yourself as good as you can be in that? That's always must be a difficult one, because you just want to play, so you want to play wherever the manager puts you, but do you need to create your own identity?
I think there's a it swings and roundabouts with both. Have I used this context, swings and roundabouts in the right term? I'm not sure, but there's an art, there's a plus for both. I mean, if you're either going to be, you're either going to be on the bench or you're going to be playing. You want to be playing in what position that is. I mean, when I was back playing, if they said to me, go and do a job at left back, I'd go and do a job. It'd be a bad job. I'd be useless. But just want to be on the pitch. I can hear people agreeing with that. I'll be useless, but give us your name and number, and I'll be around your house.
I was left back in the change room, so you're one up on me anyway. Here's a touch for Tom Worcester, his first touch since signing a new development contract with the club, as both sides just getting a feel for the game in the early stages of this one. Neither side really taking control. I've noticed a couple of the West Ham players with left hand injuries. Not sure if there's any connection between Kante and Batram's strapping on their left arm, but anyway, that's another conversation for another day. As a long ball over the top for Medine to chase and put some pressure on Niles Ramming. A long ball gives possession straight back to West Ham United. How big an occasion is this for Tom Worcester as we quickly move on from that previous conversation?
I think he got released by, I wasn't sure, but I think he's been released by Manchester United. So being released and then getting signed, by another Premier League. So, it's big for him, and as we all know, he done well last week, kept a clean sheet. Sometimes you can be, you can face adversity, and it makes you a little bit stronger, and you bounce back. And then look at Eze I nearly said at Crystal Palace, at Arsenal, because he was dismissed by lots of clubs, and so was Harry Kane. Lots of clubs didn't want him. So at the end of the day, it gives you good resolve to bounce back. Well done, Ryan Batcher.
He just didn't quite have the pass to match inside there. Joshua Robertson for Albion, getting possession back for the young Seagulls, who have possession with Freddie Simmons. West Ham just holding quite a high line there, not looking to press too quickly. They're trying to make it difficult for Brighton to play out, but they managed to do so there through young Harry Howell. And Howell is a player who's made his first team appearances and actually scored in the Carabao Cup midweek victory for the first team. So he's someone that Brighton have particularly high hopes on for the future, and one that we need to just keep an eye on in the early goings of this one.
Harry Howell looks like Tyler Diblin. Really looks like him. He's got his socks down, he runs in the same sort of vein, he's got those big calves. He really looks like him. I thought it was him for a minute.
It's a nice touch at the back there for Mayers, as West Ham just ping the ball around in the middle of midfield, and there's a nice ball into the area, cut towards the box, and there could be a chance, and there's a finish, and there's a goal, and what a finish for Josh Landers. First chance, first goal, and the Young Hammers are ahead inside 7 minutes at the Rush Green Stadium. And it is that man, Josh Landers, who has got that goal. And it's just a simple ball through to the left-hand channel. Nice cut back to the area. And the Brighton defence were at 6s and 7s.
I think you're doing that, Emeka, a little bit of a disservice. He used his pace to get on there. It didn't look like a great cross to me. He caught sort of the Brighton defenders off balance there. He's off balance, And there they allowed Josh a little bit too much time to turn. That he should have been out there quicker, shutting him off. Good finish in the end for Josh, to be fair. Well, I did say he put himself about, and don't want to be a bit of a clever dick, as they say, but he did put himself about.
He certainly has put himself about, and he has given Brighton the lead. Given West Ham the lead inside 7 minutes at the Rush Green Stadium. It's the perfect start. I wasn't doing any disservice to the ball down the channel. It's just the way that he got him behind, and the staticness of the Albion backline. They were caught short at the back, 3 at the back, but Freddie Simmons losing his footing, and it was Josh Robertson who was trying to get back there that didn't get anywhere near it. Now we'll have to see how Shannon Roof's side will respond. But immediately they've given it away to Mohamedou Kante, and he's released the ball and the flag stayed down. There's a chance for Landers again. He's just scored one. Can he double his tally on his left foot? Yes, he can. Same corner, same result, and the Young Hammers are 2 up inside 8. Can you believe it?
I thought the touch just before the finish took him too wide, actually. I'm thinking, Josh, why have you gone so wide? But he tucked it in the corner brilliantly. Great pass, great through pass as well. I think is it that touch there. Starts to go a little bit to the left. Cutting it there, it is there. He obviously knows what he's doing. Tucks it in the corner. Great start for West Ham. Go on, you Irons.
Brilliant finish yet again from Josh Landers. He knows where that corner of the goal is, all right. And it's West Ham that lead by 2-0. And Brighton literally tried to push on straight from kickoff. And there was Mohamedou Kante, maybe doing that Yaya Toure job, maybe doing that Patrick Vieira job. Who knows? He's doing the Mohamedou Kante job, and he's winning the ball back, and he's slotting it through. And it's a great through ball, and Landers did the rest.
Did you say to me that Brighton had the best defensive record in the league? I'm not taking the mickey out of them. I mean, West Ham have done well to score 2 goals so quickly then, really, haven't they? Caught Brighton unawares. Well done, West Ham.
Well, in fact, Albion have only conceded 2 goals all season, and West Ham have scored 2 goals inside 8 minutes, which kind of makes a mockery of the best defence of the league inside this early stages. So let's not get too carried away, and we'll see how the rest of this game pans out. But it is the perfect start for West Ham United, who lead here by 2-0 inside the opening 8 minutes. And it might well have been on Mark Robson's script, but it certainly wasn't the script that I had planned out in my head for this game. Tight and tense we thought it might be, but that has been absolutely ripped apart with a couple of fine finishes from Josh Landers. His first couple of goals in the Premier League 2 this season. So, as a man who's coached down at this level, how important is winning the game? I'm saying this now, 2-0 up in the early stages. Is the result as important at the under-21s level, or is it the development of the player and the way they adapt?
You'd like to do both, if I'm honest. You say how important is the result. I mean, if you look at West Ham's under-9s, they want to win every time they go on the pitch. I pick the under-9s out because they're the lowest age group we play with. Under-9s, 10s, 11s, 12s, all the way through. If you're a coach on the side of the pitch, you want to win the game, or you shouldn't be in coaching. But you also want to win in the right way. You want to develop the players, and they sometimes have to lose and learn from that as well. But you want to win every game you're involved with, but you want to win it the right way. You really do. I mean, I should imagine Shannon there on the side of the pitch for Brighton is not enjoying his team being 2-0 down. I'm not saying they're going to lose the game, but you obviously want to win the game and you want to win it right. You want to develop players within that sphere. Where when you get up to first team level, it's all about winning, really. But down here, you're still developing players and bringing them along the way. He's very confident at the moment, Josh Landers. He really is. And that's what the game's about. If you're winning games of football, breeds confidence. We're on a good little run with West Ham's 21s, and we started this excellently. Great touch in there. I don't know if he actually meant it, but it looks a good touch anyway.
Well, there's a game's first yellow card as well for Bigo Atom, who's playing at the back ahead of Charlie Tasker, who is a big loss for Brighton. They've got a strong-looking lineup, but he was nominated for Player of the Month for August. Also had 3 assists from centre-back, did Charlie Tasker, and he's not involved. Potentially he's going to be as part of the first team squad for Brighton's Premier League fixture this weekend. But you said about confidence. I mean, that touch from Landers there that led to the little flick and the foul on Jeffro Medine was... You only do that when you're confident. You only do that when you're a couple of goals up. You don't do that in the first minute unless you're feeding off the confidence before. Just a slight injury concern here for the Brighton goalkeeper, Niles Ramming. Not looking too good on his hamstring. Of course you can.
I'm very sceptical whether he's injured. Tell you what happens now, you get little signs given to the keeper, go down for no reason whatsoever. I want to talk to the team because we're getting outplayed. That's what I think that's about. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't get up and play the rest of the game. It's not against the rules, but I've seen it so often now. Normally later on in the game, but go down, pretend you've got a groin strain. Oh look, I want to talk to my team. Get them in. Got to get more organised. This has got to happen. That's got to happen. But it might be me being cynical old fella.
Well, we do see it increasingly in all forms of football, to be honest. This impromptu side of the pitch team talk that seems to happen coincides with a water break, an injury, anything, but any time to get a chance to get a message across to the players. Oh, it's a quick team talk from Shannon Roos' point of view. Maybe it was just a rocket up the old backside that they needed, but West Ham seemingly going to shore up. Gave Mark Robson a chance to maybe just commend his players, maybe just lord over the goal scorer Josh Landers, who's got not 1 but 2 already inside the opening 13 minutes of this Premier League 2 fixture. And from a hamstring injury to walking around rather comfortably, maybe there's something in what you're saying there, Mark. I don't know. I'm just saying what I see. But we'll restart with an Brighton throw over on the far side, and it's all to do for them really. Not the start that they were expecting, but just the perfect one from West Ham's point of view. Langford, Josh Landers double. And 2 really, really accurate strikes into that bottom left-hand corner as the goalkeeper looks on. Here's Bigo Atom, who's already on a yellow card, so you might want to fancy Joe Belmont having a little run at him if he gets the chance. On ball over top, that's questionable defending from Colin Beckis, and Brighton have their first chance to attack as Keogh looks to get it into the box. They work it to Oriola. A bit of time and space for Robertson. Good organisation from West Ham, got players back into the right positions, and they forced Brighton to try their luck on the right hand side, which they'll do through Barclay. Back it goes to Atom. Everybody in the West Ham half of the pitch, excluding the goalkeeper Ramming. As Oriola looks to work the angle for a cross, and he gets a nice cross across the face of the 6-yard box and defended at the back from Adieli. But first signs of danger from Brighton Hove Albion.
I think whatever the coach Shannon said to him, it seems they've dominated possession and created a chance and put quite a dangerous crossing in the next couple of minutes. So he might have tinkered with the system, might have said something, get it wider or whatever, but they seem to have reacted off the back of it.
And they've got their first corner, which is going to be whipped in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, well headed away by Fearon. So Albion have to recycle possession at the back with Joshua Robertson. Chance to get the ball into the box, but West Ham right in their faces and force the aimless ball over the top, which is easily collected by Tom Worcester. West Ham, as always, will look to play out through the back. Here's Colin Beckis that didn't cover himself in glory a couple of seconds ago with a loose-looking challenge on Oriola. That looked to be a free kick, but nothing given on that occasion, and Brighton have the ball back. Here's Atom to Keogh. Keogh's driving towards the West Ham penalty area. Oriola on the outside of him, low cross towards the near post, easily gathered by Worcester, but yeah, something definitely was said to those Brighton players in that impromptu team talk, and have suddenly come out looking like a side that want to play in this game.
Yeah, they have. They really have. They've come back on the front foot. Maybe that's what Shannon said to him. That's maybe what Shannon said to him. I hope West Ham don't just sit deep and let them take the game over and we're just sitting there and defend on the back of 2-0, because we do look a constant threat going forward, and 2-0's, I've heard it said before, it's a dangerous scoreline. There's another book in there, wasn't it? It's a dangerous scoreline if it is. If it goes 2-1 and they're always use this word, ascendancy, and they're in the ascendancy, and then we're in a dangerous position. So don't just sit back on the 2-0. If we're there to go forward and occupy them in their half of the pitch, I always like us to do that.
Absolutely. It was Joe Knight who picked up Brighton's second yellow card of the evening. And West Ham can just try and take a bit of control yet again in this game. That's so far so good, but I don't want to give Brighton any signs or show any signs that they can get back into it themselves. It's a nice ball forwards in towards the feet of the goal scorer Landers, and it goes to Battram. That's a lovely little ball through for Medine. Medine looks to cut it across, and there's no one at the back post. Recycled by Adieli. Here's Fearon. West Ham popping about in the area. Can they work the angle for the shot? Here's Myers. And Beckis now. And it's Brighton that have got themselves back into shape, having to defend. Lovely little turn from Kante, looking for the give and go. The turn just wasn't quite on point from Josh Landers. And Brighton can clear it down the line, but that's a better response from West Ham.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Josh Landers is going to take the plaudits from scoring 2 goals, but I think Ryan Battram had a fantastic start to the game, playing it right back. Really has made a great little pass down the side to Jeffro there, and a better cross, and could have had maybe another chance. So it's quite an open game. Good tackle there from the Brighton lad. It's quite an open game at either end, actually. You wouldn't say anyone sitting on their lead or content just to be 2-0 down. It's a dangerous cross, is it there?
Oriola there with a cross, picks up on the far side by Harry Howe. Howe into the area, hooked away. And Brighton will come again. Back with Freddie Simmons. Atom now will bring it into West Ham territory. West Ham with a solid bank of 4 at the back. Just the width of the 18-yard box, forcing Brighton out wide. Asking them to try and beat him in the air. Now from Simmons, out to Harry Howe. Comes inside on his left foot. Ball is helped on by Robertson. He's done well there to keep the ball in and force the corner. Joe Belmont doing the work for Brighton Hove Albion, who have won a succession of corners now. Tom Worcester, I should say, the West Ham young goalkeeper, to organise his defence. Question I'll ask you in a second, Mark, is the set piece defending the same all the way through the club, or does each coach have their own way of defending set pieces? We'll answer that in a second, as once again the corner to the front post is headed behind for another corner for Brighton.
At 21's level, they tend to mirror the first team, if I'm honest, because Billy Lepine, the goalkeeping coach for the 21s, does most of the set piece work, maybe with Steve Potts, and they tend to do what the first team, whether they're going to be screening. We've got most of the first contact on the most of them, so they're doing the job quite well. But they tend to mirror, whoever the first team staff are at that time.
So another dangerous ball whipped into the box, but once again, West Ham getting ahead to the first ball. And they've got a chance to break here, and there's Kante completely free, and he's onside. The keeper's come a long way, and he's managed to get hold to the ball and clear it, but West Ham on the break look dangerous again. They've already scored once from a similar position. And we mentioned about that set piece only because there's been question marks about the non-man-to-man marking, the zonal marking from set pieces, and West Ham under 21s seem to have mastered the art of it in the early stage of this game, and every set piece seems to be delivered towards the near post, and Preston Fearon seems to be getting his head to the ball every single time, a bit like a magnet to it he is at that near post, so it might cause Shannon Roof to think again when it comes to taking those corners over on the far side.
I agree with you. I think first contact and all the corners Brighton have had, we've had the first contact, which makes you can plan and do everything on the board and look at analyst stuff. But if you've got a desire to go and head that ball, you've got a good start. Really, I think corners is mostly like, you know, good old-fashioned bottle and how much desire you got. I'm enjoying this picture quite as much.
Well, NT's just swapped wings slightly, but there's Harry Howell having a go. And I don't think Tom Worcester will be too worried if he's going to keep shooting from that distance. He obviously fancies it, confidence buoyed from scoring for the first team in midweek, but he's just swapped wings momentarily with Shane and Ty, who's Albion's leading goal scorer. 4 goals in all competitions, 3 in the Premier League 2. He's yet to really get on the ball, but he started that sweeping move for Brighton as West Ham will build again from the back.
What is the age of Harry Howell? He's a confident lad. Is he? No, I just want to know if he's just come out of the under-18s or he's well above 20. I don't know what he is. He looks like he's a senior player to me. Plays with that sort of confidence anyway.
That I'll certainly find out for you momentarily, or if anyone wants to let me know, I will pass that information on. But Harry Howell, who's part of he's actually only 17 years of age, born in 2008. Harry Howell is part of a football lineage. His father, Jamie Howell, was from the Worthing area, played for the Arsenal Academy, played for England under C, and is the Bognor Regis town manager. He's got 2 boys that play at this level, and the biggest hopes are actually on young Harry Howell to go and make big things and make big strides in the game. So we'll see if that comes to fruit.
Well, it's a good start being the 17-year-old playing in the under-21s. I mean, that's a great start. I mean, people who don't understand academy football, if you're playing up a few years, you've always got a good start. I know there's people saying, oh, Mark Noble made his debut in the first team when he was 17. Tony Cotty made his debut in the first. But football has changed quite a lot since then. So, if you're playing in the 21s and you're 17 years of age, as is Golan Becker's is for us, but it does make a big bit of difference.
And that's the thing, we don't see that as much nowadays. I mean, there's a couple of young players, the young Arsenal lads and Liverpool striker, they're the exceptions rather than the normalities. There's another ball over the top as West Ham look to get a third goal in here. It's cut back, there's the finish, good save, and there's the hat-trick in from close range from Josh Landers. 3 for him. He's the hat-trick hero. The shot from Adieli, saved by the goalkeeper. And there was that man again to make it West Ham United 3, Brighton Hove Albion 0. And that's just about as good as it gets, isn't it?
Again, comes from America down the left-hand side. The pace he's got and the quality of his delivery. I mean, he picked out Jeff O'Dea, and when your luck's in, and I think any one of us could have put that in. But you've got to be there, and to score a hat-trick in 24 minutes ain't a bad achievement, is it? I did say he might ruffle a few feathers. I didn't say he's going to score 3 goals in 24 minutes, but he's a great lad, Josh, and I'm really, really pleased for him.
Absolutely. It's a hat-trick for him this afternoon, or this evening, I should say, to make it West Ham 3, Brighton 0. And yet again, Adieli over on that left-hand side, causing the trouble. The cut back to Medine, and it wasn't a bad finish. Once again, I feel they're targeting the keeper's left-hand side, maybe sensing a weakness there. I don't know, maybe it's just a coincidence. But when you say your luck's in, and Joshua Robertson, you've got to be there though, and that's the skill of a striker, to be at the right place at the right time, and he certainly was, and he looked composed. Strikers can panic and potentially fluff those lines with the simplest of chances, but he wasn't going to.
If you're ever going to be composed and relaxed, it's already when you've got two goals under your belt. And as you say, Gary Lineker, those of you as old as me, Jimmy Greaves, Tony Cotty, you've got to be there. Tap-ins count as much as a 1 from 35 yards rocket in the top corner. It's a goal, and he's got 3 goals, so that's a great achievement for Josh, and I'm really pleased for him. I like the lad.
Well, now it is a real hole for Brighton to dig themselves out from. Mentioned ahead of kickoff, West Ham's pretty impeccable record against Brighton over the years at this level, and it looks as if history is going to continue to repeat itself. 3-0 up inside 24 minutes is the sort of dream start that we, in our wildest dreams, probably weren't expecting when we arrived at Rush Green Stadium this evening. But that's where we are right now, when West Ham not only 3 to the good, but they're also playing some good football while they're at it, and getting involved all over the pitch. It's not just one player getting involved. We've seen good play from Kante, we've seen good play from Medine, from Adiele, and of course from the goal scorer, Landers.
Yes, undoubtedly. I mean, even there, we're ready to press quite quickly. We're on the front foot. Although, what are we going to do here? We'll play, son. I mean, we've looked a threat every time we've gone forward, and scoring 3 goals, as I say, in 20 minutes. I mean, not trying to make you look a fool, but it makes a mockery of Brighton having such a good defensive record. We've scored more goals this season on our own in 25 minutes than anyone they played against, which is testament to West Ham, which I like, because I support West Ham.
Absolutely. I just read the stats. That's all I do. I read the stats. That's what they were. And West Ham have in fact scored more goals than Brighton have conceded this season in the Premier League 2 inside 24 minutes. That is also a stat and a fact. In fact, Josh Langford, Landers, has scored more goals than anyone else for any other club against Brighton so far this season. Golan Bekis is a player that I didn't mention earlier. Battram, who's started this game well, as he tries to feed it into the feet of Medine, who's just muscled off it. And there's a foul call against Battram as Brighton get a free kick on the halfway line, trailing by 3 goals to 0 with a relatively strong looking lineup. There was a fear that, I think, yellow cards has also just been shown there to Battram, so he becomes the first West Ham player to go into the referee's notebook. Really sure that any of the challenges so far warrant the yellow card, particularly at this level. Not sure your opinion on that, Mark.
I think when he booked the fella for the first one, he sort of made a bit of a rod for his own back. So now he sort of made three bookings, which, as you say, none of them really warrant the booking. So we have to be careful now. Don't make another silly challenge. So we go back down to 10 men. But yeah, sometimes referees can be a bit card happy and go in really quickly. No, I've got nothing against referees at all, but sometimes just calm down, Mr. Manarin, and wait till the proper foul's made.
Another Dad's Army reference. Maybe our younger viewers might not get that one. The ball headed away and picked up on this near side by Sean Keogh. Here's Bigo Atom for Brighton. Across to Freddie Simmons. And kick ball over the top. That's going to be meat and drink for Tom Worcester, who's yet to be challenged on his first start as a official West Ham player. That might change, of course, throughout the course of the 90 minutes, but he hasn't had a save to make so far.
I don't remember anything from Brighton progressively. No, I don't think he's done a bit of just clearing up and a bit of football. He hasn't had a save to make at all. They look a little bit, I'm glad to say, their body language looks a little bit despondent, Brighton. Obviously, from a West Ham point of view, I'm delighted with that.
West Ham in possession, throwing on this near side, just underneath us. And a chance to work the ball into the middle again. That's a nice one-touch football. Almost fearing showing a bit too much of it to Joe Belmont. He gets away with it. And I like the confidence the youngsters have on the ball to go and take on a man. It's almost like it was scripted as they try and force it through up towards Amike Adiele. Brighton do get possession, and that's the confidence that does come when you're 3-0 up. You know, maybe Mark Robson's not happy about your man taking off the winger when you're playing as the last man, but that's the kind of confidence you need at all levels of the game.
In fairness to Mark Robson, he would like his players to express themselves all the time. He's that sort of coach and manager. Same with Potsy. If you feel confident you can do that, then go and do it. No, he's not one to sort of stifle expression out of any player. He really isn't. I mean, I suppose if it's in the last minute and it's 0-0, we might have second thoughts. But on the whole, in fairness to Robbo and Potsy, they want our players to express themselves in a positive way.
And we've seen plenty of that so far. With West Ham leading Brighton Hove Albion by 3-0. 3 goals from Josh Landers. 2 inside the opening 8 minutes. Almost identical strikes into the right-hand corner beyond the outstretched arms of Neil Ramming. The third a tapping from close range after Jeffro Medine's effort was pushed on basically into the pathway of Landers from about 2 yards, but he had the composure to control the ball and finish, and that's where we stand right now. We're just past the half-hour mark. West Ham United 3, Brighton Hove Albion 0. Reminder that Brighton had only conceded 2 goals in the league coming into this game, and Josh Landers has scored 3 already inside 24 minutes as West Ham leads by 3-0. Here's Bigo Atom for Albion, inside to Freddie Simmons as Brighton try and work their way into this game, try and affect the scoreline before the break and give themselves something to cling on to for the second half. But West Ham are pushing and probing and just not making it easy for Brighton to do what they like to do, which is knock the ball about comfortably.
Yes, when we was 2-0 up, I thought we sort of went back into a bit of a lower block, but now we're pressing the ball nice and high, nice in their third of the pitch, ruffling feathers in sort of, and Brighton aren't breaking that many lines at the moment. Famous Lars words, they go break a line and score against us. But at the moment, we're pressing well. Mo Diarma's coming in well from behind and stopping them, turning on the ball and getting into our half of the pitch. I think they've been well coached on this today.
It's been really disciplined. They've pushed high, and then as soon as Brighton approached the halfway line, they dropped back into this rigid kind of almost like a 5-4-1 or 4-4-2, depending on whether everyone drops back or not. But there's Kaliste dropping back to make that 5-4-1, and they look really solid, and Brighton haven't had an answer and haven't been able to play around them, apart from that one opportunity after the little impromptu half-team talk. Aside from that, Seagulls have yet to really trouble West Ham at all. That might change now as Simmons carries it outside the D. Here's Robertson. He's got Keogh on the outside of him. Keogh thought about crossing the ball in early, back inside, and that's good pressing yet again from Kante, who has not been afraid to do that in the middle of the park. He just bides his time, and as soon as there's an opportunity, he's pouncing on the Brighton player whenever he receives the ball. Now it's out on the far side with Howe. He's had one shot from distance that never troubled Tom Worcester as it dragged wide of the goal. And there's a slip, and it almost invited Medine to go through on goal as Keogh fires it into in time. Here's Harry Howe, beaten to it by Battram. Here's Kante. That's a loose touch from him, and thankfully from a West Ham perspective they've managed to keep possession, and now they look to break as Brighton have pushed bodies forward. Adieli just ran himself into a little cul-de-sac there, probably just needed to release the ball a little bit quicker.
Yeah, his initial burst was excellent, got into space, and then I think there was a time to play, look to bounce people off forward or go inside. Just had one touch too many, but I've never knocked Emeka for trying things, because he's so successful and he's so creative as the 3 goals. Although Josh Landers has got the 3 goals, Emeka's been involved in at least 2 of them.
Absolutely, yeah, 2 assists, or a partial assist for the last goal maybe, and then Kante with the other assist when he won the ball in midfield and slotted it through. And West Ham again organised. Brighton just don't seem to have any ideas of what to do with the ball at the moment. They're knocking it back, going from side to side. They seem reluctant to play it over to the right hand side. They keep wanting to attack where you'd argue maybe West Ham are strongest at the back with Battram.
Brighton at the moment, I don't know if anyone watched this game, look a little bit like Arsenal did against Man City on Sunday. Loads of sidewards, loads of... They're not really breaking any lines, not really getting behind West Ham. One way, going the other way, not really penetrating at all. I know Arsenal did eventually equalise, but Brighton do seem to be playing in the same vein as that. Whereas, I think the game of football is not a long ball game, it's not a short ball game, it's the right ball game. So if there's grass in behind, put it in behind. If they've dropped off and the grass is in front, play there. Simple as that. That's what Bill Shankly used to say, and Liverpool weren't a bad team in the 70s, were they?
He did all right, I think. Kante's clipped there, and that's the second foul in quick succession from Joe Belmont, who, judging on the standards of yellow cards for the other challenges, I'm surprised has got away with that one. But West Ham play it quickly and have given it straight back to Brighton, who, yet again, opportunity was there. It was West Ham have pushed bodies forward, playing a high line, a ball over the top there. Just ask a question. That's what you want. Try and just change it up, change the routine. But Brighton are set in this way of playing slow, methodical football. And there is a ball over the top, as literally to contradict what I was about to say. Beaumont again with a challenge, but West Ham come away with the ball. And that's another foul in the middle of the park. Brighton just can't get hold of it in an attacking third sense.
I think so much of football, what I see now, even at international level, everyone's fighting to take a risk. It's just safety. I could go out there and just keep the ball. And sometimes you've got to take the objective of the game of football to try and score goals and entertain people. And I think sometimes some people in different spheres of the game have lost sight of that sort of thing. Obviously, winning 3-0 is entertaining people. I'm not saying it's us, but what I'm saying is, it's all let's score the perfect goal. No, let's get the ball in behind him and put the ball in the back of the net. That's what fans want to see.
Isn't that any goal is the perfect goal as long as it puts you ahead? I suppose that's the way to answer that one. Once again, West Ham pushing, but this time they might have just left themselves short, but that's good pace from Golombekis, just getting back and guiding it back to Worcester. Oriola showing a bit of threat there. He's swapped positions yet again with Intai, who's now gone up top. So Brighton rotating their forward positions as Belmont looks to have gone out to the right-hand side. They just haven't been able to get any of their forward players into the game as they'd have liked. And as you said, West Ham have done a really good job of not making it easy. Press on there, forcing the long ball. It seemed to be a soft free kick given by the referee. It does give an opportunity for Brighton to get the ball into the West Ham half again. Here's Atta. Keogh looked to be the option ahead of him. Instead it's sideways to Simmons, who go unchallenged up towards the halfway line. West Ham 3, Brighton 0, 7 minutes to go before the break. A hat-trick from Josh Landers, if you've just joined us. 2 inside the opening 8 minutes, almost identical finishes into the far corner. And then a hat-trick goal, save from Jeffrey Medine, shot by Niles Rumming, fell to Josh Landers inside the 6-yard box, and he finally controlled and tapped it in from all of 2 yards to complete the perfect first half so far for West Ham United.
You wouldn't call any of the 3 goals spectacular, just, good centre forwards. That's a fact, surely. I'm thinking in this game of booking. Definitely a free kick, ref. Jesus. Anyway, have to defend. Good practice. There's a bit of development for you. The free kick you should have got, you didn't get. You still got to keep the concentration and defend. It's about development. Well done, Brighton. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it did look to be probably the worst challenge of the game we've seen so far on Kante, and not given by the referee, who we've mentioned in the early half an hour of this game was quite thrifty by handing out his cards. But it does give us an opportunity for another little team talk before the half-time break in 5 minutes. I believe there's a message that you'd like to shout out there, Mark.
Well, nothing against you at all, but normally my fellow commentator is Ollie, and he's not here tonight because he's celebrating his mother's birthday. Well done to you, Ollie. What a great son you are. I hope he appreciates the fact. I like to think that you bought her a nice present, some flowers or some chocolates or some roses or something. Well done, Ollie. I'm not saying I'm missing you next to me, but I'm missing looking at your disgusting trainers that you normally wear.
There you go, Ollie. That one's for you. As there's real detail in that team talk from Mark Robson and the coaching staff down there. Does he see something in this that maybe West Ham want to push for for a fourth before the break, or is it more about trying to nullify any Brighton threat before the break?
I think he's talking about let's get in at half time, being 3 in front. One goal could just change, just the difference in the game, sort of thing. So he's saying let's guard against it. We've got 5 minutes. If a chance arises, obviously we'll take one. But on the whole, 3-0 at half time, we'll be delighted with that.
Well, that man's certainly delighted right now. 3 goals for Josh Landers in this first half, and just looking and checking on Kante down behind us. He's back walking, and he'll be back on the pitch ready to resume. Just see him in our picture there, so that's a good sign.
I think Josh Landers, I'm just thinking about it, he's had an exceptional month, because I think in an international for Scotland he scored 4 or 5 in a game against, I think it was against Gibraltar, so someone that he should score 4 or 5 against, but he's still done it playing for Scotland's 21s.
Well, he was in fine goal scoring form for the under-18s in January. I think he's got 11 in 13, I think he scored from January. And signed from Hibernian after a trial period. Not often we see players come down from Scotland down to London, but there's Kante sprinting back into position as well. As there's an effort. It's hit the underside of the bar, and that's the closest Brighton have come. Worcester was nowhere near it, and Brighton still on the attack. Here's Oriola trying to shimmy left and right before playing it back to Robertson. Here's Atom across to Simmons. First real scare for West Ham United just before the break, leading by 3-0 in this Premier League 2 Friday night game under the lights at the Rush Green Stadium. Brighton looked at working on the right hand side. A few step overs from Howe. His eyes only on the ball though. He needs to look up and try and find a man, and he's almost run out of pitch but manages to just about keep the ball in play. And the momentum of that attack and from that crossbar hit is just nullified slightly as here comes Oriola. Batcham having to stay alert for West Ham. West Ham just pushing out. They've regrouped, they've got themselves organised once more. And that was the miss of maybe Mohamedou Kante just running onto the pitch, just a bit disorganised momentarily as Keogh looked to be in an offside position. Flag has stayed down. Can he get the cross in? He can't, but he can win the corner for Brighton.
It just shows you what a dangerous player Harry Howe is there. I mean, very confident, cutting on his left foot. I mean, fantastic shot. The keeper all beaten, really, if I'm honest. And it wasn't actually the top of the bar. It smashed off the middle of the bar or the underside of his cutting side. I mean, I think it was a shot and not a cross. It's a great effort, to be fair.
Corner whipped in towards the back post this time, and once again a West Ham head was there. This time it was Mohamedou Kante to flick it away, kept alive by Knight. His deep cross is once again well dealt with. West Ham just having to defend deeply as we get into the final minute here at the first 45. Whipped in again towards that near post. It's bobbling and bouncing around in the area, and there's shot comes in. And it's blocked away for another Brighton Hove Albion corner. It was Bigo Atom who swipes at it. But danger signs for West Ham.
Definitely Brighton's best spell of the game. Definitely his last 2 or 3 minutes. A couple of defensive headers there from West Ham. We want them longer and higher. They was like quite low, falling at the feet of Brighton players.
Police ball to the back post. For once it is Brighton head that gets to it first. Here's Oriola. And there's a cross-come shot from from Harry Howe. Not quite the effort that he intended to have.
I think he got caught in 2 minds there, and it was a shot or a cross. It was a 6 or 1, and what's the other one of that? Half a dozen. It was one of those. But this is Brighton's best spell of the game, without a doubt. West Ham would be like to see it, get us into half time, get us regrouped, get us organised, come out second half, with a 3-0 scoreline.
Absolutely. We're into the first minute of stoppage time. Haven't seen a signal to let us know how many extra minutes will be played. There was the injury I say that hypothetically to Niles Ramming, the Brighton goalkeeper, early on in the game, and of course Mohamedou Kante needing treatment a few moments ago. So we'll probably have a couple of minutes, but not much more than that. And after that spell of Brighton pressure, hopefully West Ham can just see out this first half with a 3-goal lead intact. I've just been told it's a 5 minutes of added time, of which the first minute has now been played, as West Ham United just having a spell on the ball. And you can't concede a goal when you're in possession. At least that's what I was always told, as Batcham gives it away. Good defending and covering across on the far side from Ryan Oyebade. Right into the throw-in. Keogh back to Oriola. Never fancies taking his man on and getting a crossing, always cutting the ball back, and I think Batcham will be happy with that all day long if he's not going to be tested. Here's Keogh. Once again forced back, and this is exactly where West Ham would want the ball to be in the closing stage of this first half. Last 3 minutes of added time to be played. Long ball over the top. Batcham there first as he gets his head to it. That was nice from Medine under a bit of pressure. Worcester had to hurry into that one, and that's the first time I think that Josh Landers hasn't been able to pull one in of those long balls up to him. Hasn't really been involved since that third goal, as Brighton push on with Simmons up towards halfway, up to the right hand side where Brighton have had most joy. Harry Howe hitting the bar, a switch of play looking for Oriola. Manages to keep it in. He's got support with Keogh, and then he just got his angles all wrong. And that will do from a West Ham point of view. Batcham will walk away from this, and West Ham will eke a few more seconds out from the clock.
I hope that we don't come out second half and just think we're just sitting there with a low block and just win the game out. I think our better defensive is in when we push forward and search for other goals. I think, as we say, contrary to their stats, Brighton are quite vulnerable tonight. So I think we should not just sit there and think, we'll win this game 3-0. Maybe look for a fourth and a fifth. And our best way of defending is to be attacking. It might sound a bit strange, but I think that's the best way to do it.
Certainly how the first half hour of this game went, with West Ham on the front foot, getting those 3 goals. It's only been the last sort of 5 minutes before half time where Brighton have put together a sustained period of pressure. It's been a quite open game. It's gone relatively quickly, as well as Colin Beckis' good communication with the goalkeeper Worcester. Sometimes that could be a talking point. Worcester, new to the club, getting his communication right with his centre back, and then going long up towards Landers. That's a nice little flick on. Good covering from Simmons. Just needed a touch there from Medine. He would have been in. But Josh Landers there doing the hard work as well, because there's no thankful task trying to deal with those long balls up. You've got to try and do something with it, and he almost did.
Yep, undoubtedly. It's not all about just putting the ball in the back of the net. You've got to hold the ball up as a striker and wait for people to come into play. But as I say, I think that will be our best form of defence, playing the game high up, stealing the ball we just had, playing in their half, not just sitting back on the edge of our box.
Colin Beckis just took his eye off the ball momentarily, almost invited the challenge in, but the ball goes over to the far side, and Adieli just take a few seconds over this. In fact, pass it on down the line. We'll play a little give and go down the touchline with the ball off the pitch. Why not? West Ham should just see out these final few seconds, and they will go into the half-time break surely, leading by 3-0, and that is the half-time whistle. It is West Ham United 3, Brighton Hove Albion 0. The Brighton Hove Albion side that had the best defence in the league coming into this game. Well, that script was ripped apart inside 8 minutes. In that time, Josh Landers had scored not once but twice for West Ham United. He completed his hat-trick inside 24 minutes, this time from close range, after the first 2 goals had been rifled in from the penalty spot into the corner. It's not just been about Landers though. There's been cameos from Adieli, Medine, Kante and Batcham, as West Ham United have played the first half of all first halves this season, probably their best first 45 minutes of the season so far. They're looking to make it 4 wins from 4. Can they hold out in the second half? We'll have 15 minutes of action. We'll have 15 minutes of action. We'll have 15 minutes to have a little break and think about that whilst we show you the best of the action from the first half. It's West Ham United 3, Brighton Hove Albion 0. We'll see you again very, very shortly. Well, good evening. Welcome back to the Rush Green Stadium with the half-time scores. West Ham United 3, Brighton Hove Albion 0. There's going to be a change at half-time for Brighton. Callum Mackley is going to come into the fray. He's going to replace Bigo Atom at the back. Atom was one of the two Brighton centre-backs that was shown a yellow card as part of that Brighton leaky defence, which was not something that was in the script coming into this game, but it's something that's played out. Josh Lander's hat-trick in the first half, 2 inside the opening 8 minutes. He completed the hat-trick inside 24. He's now joint top scorer at the top of the Under-21 Premier League 2 league table. Aaron Lupalo-Bai is the other player on 5 goals. So, Mark, you were just saying, let's go and get another and come top scorer in your own right.
Yeah, he's obviously unaware. He's just got he's joined up there, but it'd be nice to get another one. And I do think in this game, I don't think this game's over. I think the next goal is really important. If we go 4-0, the game would be over. If Brighton goes 3-1, then we've got a game in our hands. So the next goal is really, really important. Or maybe there's not going to be a next goal, which would do me as well. So we'll have to see how it pans out.
The first half started pretty much in the same vein. Second half started pretty much in the same vein in the first half. West Ham again putting that pressure on the Brighton back line, but they've gone long early. And there's Ntai, who's got 3 goals himself this season. Used to be playing in a central position with Oriola out on that left-hand side again. As Brighton look to get an early goal in this second half to try and get a foothold back into the game. Reminder, West Ham came into this game 12th in the table, 2 defeats from their opening 2 games, but no shame in losing to the Premier League International Cup holders Nottingham Forest and the Premier League 2 winners Manchester City in tight games in the opening 2 fixtures. They got their first victory away at Sunderland, where Josh Landers, I keep calling him Lamford, I don't know why. Josh Landers got his first 2 for the under-21s, of which he's now added to that tally today in that 4-2 win. A 3-0 victory here last Friday against Birmingham. So mid-table for West Ham after 4 games played in the new revamped format this season, where you only play each team once and then the top 16 teams go through to a knockout tournament. A new format for the Premier League 2, and one designed to ease the stress on the coaches at that level. Do you think it's going to work out that way?
It'd be interesting. I think it needed sort of revamping and showing. I mean, there's quite a few cup competitions now when you think about, we're playing the game against, I can't remember the name of the cup, but then there's league teams in it, and then we're playing the international cup with the international side. So there's lots and lots of fixtures. So, it's always worth a look at. It's always worth revamping, because lots of first team staff say, it's a meaningless competition, it's this, it's that. They often pick holes in it. But I mean, not for the boys or the managers and coaches working it. It's a big thing, well broken up to play there. But I don't want to sit in too deep here, just bringing them on. So all of a sudden Brighton get one, and then we really are sort of like not hanging on. I don't want to use that. I'd rather do that, nick it high, force them high, and threaten the Brighton goal ourselves. I think that's our best line of defence. I know I've said that in the first half, and I'm repeating myself. But as my wife would tell you, I do like repeating myself in life, especially when I'm proved to be right. I'm a bit of a know-it-all sort of gentleman, shall we say. I'm not even a gentleman.
And we'll leave those comments for another conversation for another day, as that attack comes to nothing for Brighton Hove Albion. Just starting to see signs of a bit of Brighton pressure, and Houser's, the ball had just gone down the play. It's going to be a corner. Thankfully for Tom Worcester, the ball did go out of play. There was a little nudge on there, and Houser's taken it quickly, crossing towards the near post, and Worcester gathers it at the second attempt. But early warning signs at the start of the second half for the young Hammers.
Without a doubt, they've come out of the traps, Brighton, and they've obviously got a flea in their ear. And West Ham just need a little bit of composure, make a few passes. If it's there to hit them on the counter like we are now, but we can't give possession away cheaply like you just did there, Josh. Come on. We need to retain possession, take the sting out of the game.
It's been a good fast start to Brighton in this second half, and it needs to be. Here's Mackley, the half-time substitute, out to Howes, who thundered the underside of the crossbar towards the end of the first half with quite sumptuous effort. You quite liked his running style, Mark, we were talking about at half-time. If you want to elaborate on that any further.
Well, as I said, he's a cross between, Tyler Diblin and I've got his name. The geezer's gone to Everton from Man City. And Jack Grealish. They're wide players. They encourage people to come in. He sucks people in, and then he looks to go past them. I was saying about. Let's not forget that football's an entertainment business, and he looks like an entertaining player, one that the crowds want to come and see. I think, as I was saying, I don't want to go down the road of just bashing into the Premier League. I don't like this picture either. Not even less.
And Brighton have got a way back into it, and they're immediately back towards the halfway line. And it was Oriola, I think, who was there to tap it in from 6 yards out. It was Joe Knight with a little scoop pass out to the left-hand side. David Sukor-esque, 1996, if you remember that. And there was the cross from Keogh. And in fact, it was Ntai who was there at the right place at the right time from the 6-yard box to get his 4th of the season. And Brighton are right back in it. And it's exactly the start of the second half that we didn't want, Mark.
Exactly, very good work from the wide player. Very good work getting to the but not just getting to the byline. This is us. This is where we can do. Not saying we're going to score from this, but we're defending from this. Getting down the side again. I mean, it might work as a wake-up call for us, and I think we need it because Brighton really come out with a spring in their step, and I had a feeling they was going to get a goal early, but now we've got to really consolidate, see the next 20-25 minutes out, and if we're still 3-1 up or even better 4-1 up, we're in good stead. But at the moment we've really got to quieten them down.
Well, it was Preston Fearon who charged up the pitch immediately from the centre, and a player who in the first half went a little bit under the radar compared to some of the other players on display, and we think there's big things ahead for that youngster as he sprays the ball out on the left-hand side here to another player who might have a bright future in Amika Adieli. Here's Oyebade. As West Ham work it into the middle of the pitch. That's surely a free kick pushing the back. But once again, the referee deciding to leave the whistle in his pocket. And it requires Kante trying to nip back at the heels, but he hasn't managed to win the ball. And West Ham just at the back there. 6s and 7s. Oyebade eventually clearing it away. But Kante there just couldn't get the ball off Robertson. It was a teasing cross that was flicked on. They just needed Ntai to gamble in on it, and West Ham are conceding straight from the corner, and Brighton are right back in this one. 2 goals in 2 minutes, almost identical to how West Ham started the game. And from the quick corner, West Ham United just switched off. As we were looking at the boss, the keeper couldn't get anywhere near it, and there was Joe Belmont at the near post, and it's 2 in a matter of minutes for Brighton, and it's very much game on at the Rush Green Stadium.
As I unfortunately predicted, the first goal in the second half, could be the critical one, and if it went to us, it would have been 4-0. And now we really have got a game on our hands. I'm quite surprised the cross got all the way through there, if I'm honest, looking at that. But they are making great inroads down the left-hand side, getting to the byline. We needed just 5 or 10 minutes of just keeping possession, making passes, and preferably having something on the end of it. We need to stamp our authority on the game. Brighton are really playing with it, with their tails up.
It was just the way that it switched off from the corner, that's kind of the basics of football. We wouldn't have seen that in the first half. It was so organised and put West Ham very much on the front foot. Now they've just got to have a rethink. They've just got to compose themselves. There's 2 goals in a matter of minutes. Has left West Ham a little bit shell-shocked, but they still have the lead. That lead now is just a narrow one. Here's Adieli getting the better of Howell and skipping through. Not 1 but 2 more chances. That's going to be a free kick, and that one is given. A clip of the heels from Robertson. And the referee going to his notebook. That is going to be a yellow card for Robertson. Becomes the 3rd Brighton player into the notebook. It was better from West Ham, who just need to get themselves back into this game. If they can get a quick reply and restore a 2-goal lead, that will certainly ease some of the tension that's building up inside the Rush Green Stadium. Battram is going to take charge of this free kick in a position that might favour the cross rather than the shot. I always wonder why the keeper bothers putting a wall in from this distance, if that's just my own personal opinion. There's 4 claret and blue shirts lined up towards the edge of the 18, or the back of the 18-yard box. It is clipped towards there, headed away, falls to Fearsome on the edge of the area. He gets his shot away, and it's just the wrong side of the upright. And there's Preston Fearon, almost inches away with a left foot strike from the edge of the area.
Definitely worth a shot from there, but at least the first thing we turned up in this half, and we're asking questions ourselves. As I say, we're not a great side of just sitting back behind the ball. The best way to defend is to be at them, go at them, play the game in their half.
Here's Howes, who was Brighton's bright spark in that first half, which otherwise was dominated by West Ham United. That's good defending from Battram, and he's just crowded out. Oriola with possession back for Brighton, who have their tails up with 2 quick-fire goals in this second half, which sees the scoreline West Ham United 3, Brighton 2. As Howes turning, looking to take on Adieli, who brings him down. It's going to be a free kick. One thing that I was going to mention in the build-up to that second goal that got overshadowed because of the quick corner was the non-giving of a free kick in the build-up that led to the corner. Slightly contentious. If we were in the Premier League, we'd be going about VAR for about 3 hours on that one maybe, but this is the Premier League 2, and we see it as we see it.
And I'd much rather it that way, even though it's penalised West Ham. I'm not a man for VAR at all. That's too long, like to say. We've just got now. We need a leader on the pitch. We need someone to galvanise, get us together, get us in, get us focused, get us in our system, get us in our shape. Because we're not all over the place, but this is the time to really be solid. We need to be solid, and then as the time goes on, Brighton will become more anxious, and gaps will appear at the other end. At the moment, we're not saying we're not all over the place, and we're not looking ragged. We've really got ourselves. We've got to get ourselves solid. Got to get us up the pitch, defend a little bit higher.
And who is that player from this side? I mean, also obviously Gullenbakis is the captain, but he's one of the younger members of this starting 11, and from my understanding, not maybe the most vocal in this starting 11. So, who do you look to? Battram maybe to sort of bring that fight to the team.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan's a good captain, and you know he's been my captain before at different age groups, and when we went to Hong Kong in the summer. But you know, as you say, I mean, although Gullenbakis is an absolute amusing character off the pitch, he's really, the players love him. He's a funny fella. I don't know if he's a fantastic leader on the pitch. I don't know if if Preston is either. I'm not sure it's his game either. Really like talking and cajoling. Ezra's a good talker. Ezra, the centre back, he can cajole. But now it's time for someone to really step up, get the team together. Here's another no, I'm not going to say make believe injury. That's unfair. But Robbo might have said, "Go down for a minute. I want to do exactly what their manager done in the first half." And then it's coming that I think the FA and the Premier League are going to have to do something about it. I don't know what. But it's just like mini team talks every now and again. So it just. We're turning into cricket. It's stop, start. Not that I don't mind a game of cricket. It's probably my favourite sport. But what I'm saying is, I think Robbo's saying that now. That's probably what he's saying to him. Come on, we've got to be solid. We've got to be a leader. We've got to communicate. We've let them right back in the game. Now we go from here.
Just on that point, how do you police that? Because what if a player is genuinely injured and then they don't stop? It's a hard one, isn't it? Because you can see it from both sides. I completely get it. We see these players go down, getting treatment in inverted commas, and it's
normally the goalkeeper. If I'm honest. So, I mean, you do get penalised because if the if a physio comes on, then you have to go off. So that is a penalisation against you anyway. But yeah, I don't know, but it just seems to happen more in PL2 games than anything. there's always a little break somewhere where someone's supposedly injured. But I don't know.
Well, Adiele's boots off at the moment, so maybe more to this. Hopefully not. It's a conversation going on between the referee and Mark Robson. So,
knowing Robbo like I know him, he's mentioning what we said is the free kick before the goal. I think he's talking about that. He's probably said we've looked on the analyst, blah blah blah. Yeah, I think that's what's been said. I'm not sure. It's guesswork.
Well, Boots back on. He's on his feet, but he is going to have to spend a couple of minutes off the pitch, which does temporarily see West Ham down to 10 men. But it's crazy how the second half is almost mirrored the first half in the complete opposite way. 2 quick goals for West Ham inside 10 minutes. It was 2 quick goals for Brighton inside 5 second half minutes. And then the injury at about the 12-minute mark as we get the impromptu team talk, and we're back underway. And just like Brighton did, they went on an attack straight from there. Here go West Ham with Ryan Battram looking for support as West Ham look to test Niles Ramming for the first time in this second half. And from what we've seen so far, the Brighton goalkeeper hasn't really covered himself in too much glory, although when we were looking at that third goal, it was slightly more unlucky than we maybe gave him credit for on initial viewing.
Yeah, he's actually made a good save with his left hand, and it's unfortunately for him bounced down at his knee, and that's where it went across our goal line, and Josh was there to tap it in. I'm quite impressed with the last 2 or 3 minutes. We're starting to play the game much further up the pitch, much in there, not just sitting back defending. So we're up the pitch, we're putting pressure on the ball. We'll be okay as long as they don't break any of our lines. As you say, we're in the last third of the pitch and we're challenging them for possession. Which I like to see, in nick possession.
It's that man Kante again, who sometimes just seems to be in the right place in the middle of the park, just to know where the ball's going to come. That's always a good habit to come, as the long ball raked out to this left-hand side. It's not going to reach Adiele. That's going to be a corner. Again, Ramming unable to get onto that chest back from Callum Mackley, who's mostly been on the front foot since coming on at half-time. He's a right-sided centre-back, but he's almost playing like a right winger. And
I don't think we've had a lot of corners ourselves. I know they've had a lot of corners. I don't think West Ham have had. Yes, it's our second corner. We've got first contact on the most of the corners we've defended. Let's hope we can get first contact on this, going the other way, put ourselves in a nice 2-goal cushion again.
Well, here is Battram to do just that. There's the arm signal. It's towards the near post and it's flicked away. Just for a minute there, looked like Kante got the contact on it, and then that looked to be a soft free kick as Ryan Battram was running towards his own goal. It was Oriola who went down. West Ham are going to make a change. It's the hat-trick hero Josh Landers who's going to be replaced. Andre Dyke will come on in his place. Youngster who got his scholarship deal back in 2024 after playing well for the under-18s, and he scored for the under-18s at just the age of 15. So another young lad playing well up in age. Again, showing that the future is bright, and he's going to try and put some pressure on this Brighton backline. A very different looking physical attributes that he's got, but he'll test them in different ways.
Totally different player. Got tricks and flicks, and really has got a good touch. Plays for England as well. Played for England in his own age group and that. So he's a great prospect for us, but a totally different sort of style of player. Morgan's going to go into his feet a lot more, rather than and he's not that robust. He gets through the game with his skill and technique, more than being an old sort of style centre forward. But he's a threat if he gets it anywhere around the box with the feet, and defenders are very reluctant to tackle him. Could be on the line for penalties and things. So maybe we're going to play the game a slightly different style in the last sort of 30 minutes.
Here's the danger man Howell at the other end, gliding into the area, cutting back on that left foot, and there's a teasing cross that's headed wide, and Joe Belmont got that all wrong because the approach work from Howells was just about as near perfect as it can be. He put it on a plate for Beaumont, and maybe I'm going to do him a disservice. No, he didn't get over the top of the ball. Just didn't quite turn his head the right way, and that goes down as a big chance for Brighton.
Massive chance, massive. I thought Howells was actually offside. My initial when the ball went to him, but he's held his line well, obviously, and he's done everything right, really, hasn't he? Fantastic cross. Here to say, if I was playing centre forward, it would have gone over the bar. No, it would have been nestling in the corner.
Absolutely. But thankfully for us, Joe Belmont isn't you, and the ball sailed wide rather harmlessly. Just going back to Andre Dijk, we mentioned him playing for England. He made his debut for the under-17s earlier, it was about a year ago now. Actually scored on his debut against Mexico. He's thought of really highly in the England setup, which is good not just for West Ham but also good for England. Again, it's another one of those young players from the academy going through to represent England, which West Ham are famed for.
Yeah, we are, and it's always nice to see because, I've said it a million times, West Ham won the World Cup all them years back, and I think England to win any trophy would need 3 West Ham players in the side, obviously. So if we can get Andre Dijk and maybe Harry Dat and Jules Urphy in there, then maybe West Ham have a chance, England will have a chance of winning the World Cup in years to come. Might be a tad biased, but there you go. The facts are West Ham won the World Cup.
Well, we better speed up their progress into the first team then, because there's not long to go, about 8 months or so until we kick off in America. So, all right, not this one. Okay, fair enough. I thought, okay, let's get optimistic about this. So we've got 8 months to go. Right, crack on. Right, here we go. Back to Rush Green, the Rush Green Stadium, where West Ham are leading Brighton by 3-2 in this Premier League 2 fixture. A 3-goal lead West Ham rushed into inside 24 minutes. A hat-trick for Josh Landers, who's just been substituted for Andre Dijk, who comes on to the pitch to lead the line for West Ham. But 2 quick-fire goals in the second half. We've got Brighton right back in this one, and quite often in the second half, which they didn't manage to do in the first half, they're looking to this man, Harry Howe, to try and work a bit of magic. And once again, he dinks out a juicy-looking cross towards the back post. It's been kept alive as Brighton pinging the passes around with confidence in the first half that they didn't show. Oriola tries to get the cross in, blocks away from Batcham. It's going to be another corner to Brighton Hove Albion, and this time West Ham do need to switch on, because it was from this situation in the 5th minute of the second half where they switched off. But they're going to have that opportunity because West Ham are going to make another change.
They're bringing on Lewis Brown, who is a talker and who is a leader and who is a cajoler. And maybe the reason they're bringing him on, he does talk a lot, he organises a lot. He's got a lot of experience, so maybe that's why he's now bringing Lewis Brown on. I've noticed that they're playing Harry Howe really wide now. Watch how when the game in open play, Harry Howe is touching the touch line, and they're making the pitch really big. They're making it 1v1 every time Harry Howe gets it. The tactic they're using, not for Harry Howe to score himself, but he's starting to create a lot of problems.
Corner whipped in towards the 6-yard box, and this time it is a Brighton head, and it was Freddie Simmons who got there first, but was never troubling Tom Worcester in the West Ham goal. So we mentioned Lewis Brown coming on, another England's young international, former Arsenal player, signed back in 2024 as well, who's the son of the current academy manager Kenny Brown, and also the grandson of the club's oldest living player, Ken Brown Sr. So he's a man steeped in West Ham pedigree. I think that's probably fair to say.
I think it is fair to play. Although he played for Arsenal, Lewis is a West Ham fan, and Ken is a West Ham fan, and obviously old Ken's a West Ham fan. So they are a big West Ham family. They really are. But one of Lewis's best attributes is his organisational skills and his talking and his cajoling, a bit like in the Tony Adams mode. I'm slightly concerned with how much the ball Harry Howe is starting to get. He's really starting to influence the game. And they're playing him that wide, so he gets lots of 1v1 stuff. It's fair due to Shannon, the coach. That's what he's worked on, and that's what the key. I bet he's out here wide right now, trying to get in a 1v1 situation. Here he is.
That's it, just pulled in off the backside, and you can see that Lewis Brown's, I reckon he's probably been charged with maybe not a man marking job, but certainly keeping tabs on him.
Let him know he's there, put it that way. Let him know he's there.
Well, Brighton now trying to attack on the left-hand side with Oriola, who scored that second goal, and he gets a good-looking ball into the box. Beaumont once again fluffed his lines in the area. West Ham get away with another one. Oriola, little quick step over from him. West Ham just, for the moment, regrouping. And again, Beaumont wasn't able to control the ball. Was good pressure, forced pass. The referee has given Brighton a free kick. Challenge came in late. Brighton just slowly, territorially starting to pen West Ham in, and that midfield line that was pushing towards the halfway line in the first half is getting deeper and deeper towards the back line.
Yep, as I say, it's human nature. We know when you're defending a goalie, you go back. But that's why Lewis Maybe's there to get us up, get us squeezed, get us higher up the pitch. They're not a sort of team who's got lightning pace by them, so leave some grass in behind you, get the keeper on the edge of the box, and let them play it in behind if you want. I'd rather squeezed up, not just sitting on the edge of our box. I really would.
Once again, ball back with Brighton is Simmons. Now Barkley. Barkley Howes up ahead of him, but decided to work it back. And Brighton have done this a lot in this second half. They'll build up slowly on the left-hand side, and then they'll switch it, as you said, to Howell, who's quite often occupying this right wing. But this time he's been called off it, and it was that man, Lewis Brown, who was there to win it back. And here goes Kaliste. Dyke tries to cut the ball across, but there are too many blue and white shirts around him. And Brighton can clear their lines, but that's better for West Ham. Although that header wasn't, as Knight goes down, clutching his face. I really like to see that. It didn't look to be anywhere near his face, to be honest. And there he is, getting up and running away as if nothing had happened. And West Ham still have possession. It's one of the things that's creeped into the game that I'd rather not see. Players holding their face as West Ham look to attack on the right hand side. Nice little step over from Medine. Can he work the angle for a cross? He gets the better of Ntee momentarily. He's just been penned in. I don't think that ball actually went out of play, but the assistant referees always like to put their flag up and feel they're involved in the game, and he's given the decision West Ham's way, which will do quite nicely, as there's just 18 minutes or so left to play, plus added time for West Ham to hold on to this narrow lead. As Brighton look to play quickly. Surely another yellow card. Referee didn't take too long to think about it. And Preston Fearon goes into the referee's notebook. It's a nice bit of skill from Oriola. No one wanted to make a challenge. I'm surprised Colin Beckers didn't just stick a foot out there. It seemed inviting for him to do so. But Brighton, as always, look to play it short. Robertson sees the ball. Back it goes to Simmons. Far more composure about Brighton's play in this second half. The two goals will certainly have played a part in that. And Mackley's pulled out wide to this right. Instead it's a ball over the top, and it's a chest through the middle from Oriola. Worcester was there to read it. Just switching things up a little bit there, Brighton. Not necessarily playing as obviously as they had done in the first half.
No, as I said earlier, quoting the great Bill Shankly, it's not always one way of playing. You have to keep the other team guessing. It's not a long ball game, not a short ball game, it's the right ball game. Brighton are mixing their game up. As I say, they're really trying to isolate their best player to lead in 1v1. So far, Lewis Brown's come on and done a good job against him, actually. He's got him playing backwards quite well. But he is the threat. You can tell now, I was wondering in the first half, why Brighton were so high in the league. I think they're fourth in the league, as you say. You can tell looking at this second half performance, not just because of the goals, that they are a good side. They're a good team. They're quite inventive going forward, and they're quite solid at the back second half. They obviously had 45 minutes of curiousness.
Well, whilst we saw that chance for Brighton, there's going to be a double West Ham substitution. It's going to be Akpata and Sawunmi coming onto the pitch, which will add a different dynamic, as looks like Mark Robson will look to try and shore things up for this final 15 minutes or so, and maybe slightly more defensive looking shape than probably against what you want to see here, Mark.
Not really. I think he's brought on Tyrone and Elisha. I mean, Elisha's a forward-thinking player, and Tyrone's got lots of experience. He's played in the 21s the last couple of years. He'll sit in there, maybe with Preston, and just get us retaining the ball better, just taking the sting out of it. I think our ball retention, especially when we win it back, we're giving it away too quickly as well. So I think he's done that to improve our ball retention. It's a Brighton fella here wasting time when he's 3-2 down. So we'll let him do that. Thanks very much.
Seems odd that he walked to the halfway line to go off the pitch when you can just go off there, but yeah, absolutely. That's Joe Beaumont, who missed that chance moments ago. It's excellent work from Sean Keogh down on the left-hand side, getting beyond the line, cutting the ball back. Another scary moment for West Ham, but scary moments are fine as long as it doesn't end up in the back of the net, and on that occasion it didn't.
I think there's 75 minutes gone. I'm going to make a prediction: the game will not end 3-2. There you go.
Well, we've got 15 minutes or so to find out, but I wouldn't bet against you. It's the long ball for Dyke to try and chase. There's Barkley using his experience and strength to get there ahead of the young West Ham forwards. Along it goes. Ty giving chase. Mayer's back for West Ham. Worcester just waited a tad too long there and had to hurry his clearance. Brighton get the first contact and then get possession once more. Here's Mackley into the feet of Howe. He's been a lot quieter, as you say, since Brown has come on. That doesn't mean he's not a threat. Ball down the channel. There's Oriola again, who is really livened up. And he's not quite forced the corner, but he's making a nuisance of himself. West Ham will take their time with this goal kick as Brighton are about to bring on Tyler Silsby. And it is Howell who's going to be replaced, and that's springing celebrations from the man next to me, who's very happy to see that substitution, Mark.
Yes, I am. I mean, this fella's going to come on and probably score a goal now and ruin me, but I think Howells was an absolute threat, and every time the ball went to him, I was holding my breath. Fair due to Lewis Brown for the 5 or 10 minutes he's come on and played against him. He's done a good job against him, but I think we're going to be hearing Howells' name in the future, and maybe at a higher level, because if he's 17 years of age and he's a bit like Jeremy Monger is at Leicester at such a young age. He's an absolute player. So I think we're going to be hearing his name in the future, and that's a careless pass.
Well, Silsby will go into the attack. He is a striker by trade. Yet to score this season, but does have an assist to his name. Again, another player in his teens playing for the under-21s for Brighton. That's better as Kante manages to find Fearon. Here's Brown. Keeps it in, dinks out across towards the back post, but no one in a claret and blue shirt there to meet it. There's Ramming. Can start another Brighton attack. The ball was in the right place, but no West Ham player wanted to commit themselves too far forward at this stage of the game, trying to protect their lead, but that's a loose pass, and Knight gets the challenge in. I felt like you were playing there, Mark, as you put your hand up appealing for the ball.
I thought it was our ball.
Long ball forwards over the top. Oriola and Ntai trying to battle for it, but There was Golan Beckis for West Ham United as Brighton come away with the ball in the middle of the park. Here's Barkley, kicked it over to this right hand side. Here's Silsby, and that's lined up in the same position. Howes, as he gets the cross and kept it in. It's too close to the goalkeeper at the near post. The flag has come out, he didn't actually keep it in play. I thought it'd have gone some to have kept that in play, but I'm surprised to see Silsby lining up on the right hand side. He is a striker, but I know Brighton like to rotate their forward players a lot, and given Belmont's luck in front of goal so far, I expect them to line up alongside him. Bit of head tennis.
Swap for Howes, isn't he? He's gone out and played on the right. I didn't know where he played, but that's where he's sort of taken up his position.
He has. It remains to be seen if he'll be as involved in the game as Howell was. Here's Oriola. Beaumont made a sprint and run into the middle. Ball back with Keogh. Simmons now. Barkley to his right. Barkley the further options should they wish to use him. Instead it goes in towards the feet of Knight. West Ham will be happy with Brighton to have possession around the halfway line. They're not able to force their way through on this occasion. Oriola having to settle for a throw-in as we enter the last 10 minutes at the Rush Green Stadium. West Ham United 3, Brighton Hove Albion 2. A game really of two halves, and that's an understatement. West Ham 3-0 up inside 24 minutes and coasting at half-time. But 2 goals inside the opening 5 minutes of the second half has led this to be a more tense finale than we were expecting as Brighton work it into the area. Robertson back out to Oriola. Here's Knight getting involved. Thinks about the shot and then dinks one towards the far post, and maybe it'd be better going for a shot than the cross he did produce.
Yeah, I was glad to see that myself, without a doubt. I think since Brighton's second goal, I can't remember that many clear-cut chances, so we've defended quite well since then. I mean, it's still, so I don't think the game's going to end 3-2, but you know, we're defending with some amount of control, which is nice. Then we just give the ball away for fun.
Here's Silsby looking to go to the outside. There's Brown with a tug of the shirt, but Silsby still going. Referee weighs advantage and he clips it towards the back post, and that's a really important touch from Battram because there were 2 blue and white shirted players at the back post looking for an easy tap in. Ball back into the area, flicked away this time by Oyebade. Pressure here from Brighton as Knight drives it in low, but once again too close to the goalkeeper. But that was a really important touch at the back post from Ryan Battram.
I think without the touch they're equalising. I really do. It's a very important touch. Sometimes, you know, it's really strange. That is as good as a goal, but he won't get the amount of credit for it. But it really was a great touch because there was 2 Brighton players behind him just waiting to put the ball in the net. Brighton are in a really good passage of the game at the moment for them, and really West Ham have got to, you know, just defend, organise, talk, get us up the pitch, nick some yards when we can. Don't just sit in there waiting for it to happen.
Here's Silsby out on the right hand side, back to Mackley. Knight gets it forward. Silsby, a Brown in his face. Really does look like a no nonsense player. Lewis Brown. I don't know if that's fair of me to say, Mark.
I think it's what we needed at the time, though. Actually, we did need that. Now, if you've got to clear your lines, you clear your lines. A little bit like his dad. His dad knew when to clear his lines.
Remember the old John Smith's advert of Have It from Peter Kay. Anyway, some of our older viewers will enjoy that one as well as the ball is kicked down the line. And that's a good bit of running from Akpata, just forcing the mistake, forcing the throw in and just slowing the game down. It was just getting a little bit out of West Ham's control, and it just needs a moment like that where you can just take a moment, take a breath, get back on the ball and just make Brighton think for a couple of moments. There's Brown, and as I say that, they're rushed into the ball across the pitch and give it straight away. Here's Knight, back to captain Freddie Simmons. Simmons out out to Barkley. It's a loose touch and fortuitously keep possession. There's a bit of space for Keogh. He's got Oriola on the outside of him. Oriola closed down, and that's good pressure. It'll be a Brighton throw-in. But now, just seems to be, they've just woken up a little bit. They're being faster to the challenge. They're snapping at the heels, and it's much more like we were seeing in the first half. But Silsby has got in behind here. He gets a cross in, and there's the equaliser. Brilliant delivery from Silsby. I think it was in tie with the finish for his second of the game. It's his 5th of the season. And you were right, Mark. There was another goal, but unfortunately, it's come at the wrong end. It's West Ham United 3, Brighton Hove Albion 3, and it was made by Silsby. And that ball there from Simmons was just about as good as it gets. The cross first time was brilliant. The keeper was nowhere near it. In fact, it was Belmont, who got the finish to level things up. And it's 3 apiece. And on the balance of play for the second half, it's a tough one to take for West Ham.
It is, but in all fairness, they have really come out the second half, and they might have deserved it. I don't know what part of his body he put the ball in. He sort of went off his hip. It was a bit of a weird one, but the fellow who played wide, Silsby, who you thought was a centre forward, looked excellent as a winger, by the way, and supplied a brilliant cross. But I'm still concerned with 5 minutes to go. Let's make sure we do get something out of the game. You know what I'm saying? Because they really have got their tails up, and we've really got to defend. I'd like to see us trying to retain possession a little bit more, if I'm honest. But you've got to give credit to Brighton's resolve and their attitude. The way when you're 3-0 down, it's a long way to come back from, and they seem to, they seem to have achieved it. But the game's not over yet, and at this moment in time, I would take a point.
Indeed, Brighton in the ascendancy. There's never been a draw between these two clubs at this level. Take that for what it's worth. As Beaumont, or Simmons rather, he played that excellent ball through for Silsby. Driven pass went straight between Brown and Oyabade. So that crossing opportunity for Silsby, and it was an excellent first time crossing from him, and this time Belmont was there at the right place to turn in. From Beckis to Worcester, plays it into midfield, and once again Brighton come away with the ball. It's a loose pass back. It's asking questions of Benjamin Barkley. Whereas in the first half, West Ham would have had players up and around there. They've dropped a lot deeper, understandably. Zach Patter gets the ball back. Here's Oyabade to Brown. For the give and go. A rushed pass out of play. It's going to be a throw into Brighton. They're going to make another change. Owusu going to come on for the final couple of minutes or so. Small figure Joe Knight himself is no shorty. He'll add a bit of beef and muscle into the middle of the park. Midfielder. Yes, Brighton, unbelievably, have been looking for a winner, which seemed inconceivable at half-time. Worcester's come a long way out of his area. He deals with it well. We're feeling nervous here, Mark, as we approach the final couple of minutes.
Yeah, I'm concerned with us keep playing the part of John Smith's ball all the time. Sometimes you have to clear, but we're not retaining possession enough, taking the sting out of the game. And we, if you remember the first half, we started off making loads of passes. They're just retaining possession for a lot longer than we are. We have to keep the ball.
That's a really important sliding challenge coming in. Brighton looking to complete the turnaround. Oriola again in the box, and it was like Patter who was back defending, stretching out the Inspector Gadget leg. It's behind for a corner, which Silsby will take. An in-swinger. Brighton have loaded up the 6-yard box. So far, West Ham been good, and the ball's been whipped into the box, and they are again as it's headed away by Mayers. Can West Ham look to break? Urging the West Ham players to get out and get up the pitch as we're into the final 10 seconds, final 40 seconds of regulation time. The score is level at 3 apiece. There's Worcester under pressure. Working ball out to the far side, but once again it's blue and white head that gets to it first. That's high and hanging from Golombekis. Kante looked like he was having his shirt pulled, and he does get the free kick. Golombekis gets on with the game quickly. Just when we need a few cool heads here. Up the line from Brown, deflected out for a throw-in by Mackley, and we're going to have 7 added minutes here at the Rush Green Stadium, and you felt like your heart just dropped there, Mark.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I'm looking for us to come out of this with a point, but you never know. You never know. We might get 3, but 7 minutes. It's not what I was looking for personally. Hello. It's a foul referee.
He raised advantage and does bring it back for the foul. Just for a moment there, it looked like it was going to open up for Kante to get a strike on goal. That was Sawanmi. First time I've seen him get involved in the game, but it's right on the edge of the area. An inch or two closer to the box. No VAR, but a free kick for West Ham in a really, really promising position. And this is an awkward position. Do you try and test the keeper from here? Ramin's not had the best of games so far.
He's a left footer, so it'd be a strange angle to cross. I think he might flash it across him. I'm not sure what he's going to do.
Box is loaded. Patter's just laying on the edge of the area. It is clipped towards the far post. It's gone all the way through, and at the back post was Golombekis. He nodded it across, and now he's got to sprint back to his defensive position. Brighton don't take the game quickly. They might have used that to spring the break, but patiently they'll try and build up again from the back. That's the closest West Ham have come for a long time. Long searching ball over to Oriola. He can't keep it in, and that'll do from a West Ham perspective, as Medine will leave this one for Golombekis to throw up the line. Sunday mornings would be told just to work the line right now. Is that still the case in under 21 football?
Not normally with that retaining possession, but the state of the game is not one we want to lose, so we might be secretly saying to our teammates work the line, which hasn't worked, but looking at this.
Double through. Worcester's come a long way out of his goal, and then Worcester's made a great decision there. And he smothers the ball before Belmont can get onto it. There's space for Brown on this near side. Just looking to calm the game down. Sensible thing to do in this situation. And they have just taken the sting out of this game, to be fair, this young Hammers side, the last couple of moments. There's Kante. There was an unfortunate slip from a Brighton player there. They have possession with Keogh. Game's just going to be stopped. It's a nasty looking one. It's a bit of cramp for Robertson. I thought he'd slipped on the turf and gone over his ankle. I've had a bit more sympathy than I do, but a bit of cramp, which is not a nice feeling.
One of the worst things you can get is about 3:30 in the morning when you're in bed. Getting cramp is unpleasant. Shouting out, the missus thinks there's a burglar in the house, but no, I've got cramp. No, it's not nice. Not nice at all.
Well, Brighton going to take no risks. Harry Mills is going to replace Robertson for the final 3.5 minutes or so. I won't recreate the yelping sounds that comes from cramp at 3:30 in the morning. I don't think our listeners will enjoy that too much.
I have to tell you, the year before last, me and a group of people, we went and done the Three Peaks Challenge. In every 24 hours, we'd done Snowdon, we'd done Ben Nevis, and we'd done Scarfield Pike, and we'd all staying in different hotels. There was lots of screaming of cramp in the middle of the night from that. The Free Peakers who listen to this will know what I'm talking about.
Again, sounds like a story for another day, Mark, but that's okay. As Harry Mills comes on for the final couple of minutes or so, we'll probably have another minute or so added on to the 7 agonising minutes we've got left to play here at the Rush Green Stadium, with the score level at West Ham 3, Brighton Hove Albion 3, and Brighton will have the chance to build up again from the back. Long ball up towards Oriola, flicks on. There's Belmont, who's scored not once but twice this evening.
Joe, no switch! Shane, no switch! Tyler, no switch!
He'll be looking for his hat-trick. He's got 90 seconds or so to get an opportunity to do so. Ball switched out to his left-hand side, just behind Brown, which causes him to just check back slightly. Kante, that's a loose pass, he's given it straight away. Here goes Owosu, and he's given it to Golan Bekis. Final seconds here at the Rush Green Stadium. Is there going to be one final chance, one final twist to this game? That was really poor, giving possession straight back to Albion. Strong run. Inside, he's got plenty of space. Here's Ariola. Ariola looking to take on Apata. Gets the cross in, it's fisted away by Worcester. Picked up by Barkley. Space for Keogh. Here's Mackley looking for the little flick on. Good defending from Fearon. Has he won his side goal kick? No, he hasn't. It's going to be a corner. And he shakes his head in frustration. And it does give Brighton Hove Albion one last chance before the 90. Got a very nervous bench sitting next to me here as Tyler Silsby stands over this set piece. So far, West Ham have dealt pretty well from these deliveries into the box. But we have a few seconds remaining. It's delivered towards the back post underneath the keeper, who gets a really good fist on it. Worcester under pressure, and better than that, he gets a free kick, and hopefully that will be that mark.
Did very well there, the keeper. Did very well. I don't think it was a free kick, but all you've got to do these days is look at a goal kick when he gets a free kick. But he done well, lad. He done well. He was under immense pressure. I think there was a little cameo just before that of where we gone wrong in the second half, and fed you to Brighton where they've gone right. Our retention of the ball has been disgusting in the second half. We just haven't took the sting out of it. We've lost it cheaply. Brighton have just come back at us, every chance they've got it. And if I'm honest, Brighton deserve at least a point from this game. They really do. Maybe they're not going to get one.
It's a lovely bit of footwork from Sawunmi, but Brighton do their job defensively and can clear it up towards halfway. Golan Bekis gets it back to Ezra Mayers. 3 West Ham players in an offside position. Keeper comes a long way from his goal. And just about Brighton deal with the situation. And that's a tactical foul from Kante. Put of the shirt on Callum Mackley. And there's a yellow cards for the West Ham central midfielder. As we're into the 9th minute of added time here at the Rush Green Stadium. And another chance, this time for Harry Mills to put the ball in the box. Sure, Mark Robson beneath us is screaming for the referee to blow for full time, as that's a really poor delivery, and maybe he won't be, because West Ham could break. Pearson gets it through. Here goes Adieli, the keeper comes out. And he's taken a real risk there, but he just gets there. In fact, it was Dyke, I should say, who nearly got in beyond the goalkeeper. It was half an opportunity for West Ham, and still we play on. West Ham are now going to load the box for this corner, which Patter will take. In fact, no, he's not. He's going to leave it for Preston Fearon. A double hand signal comes up, and West Ham going to come up with a late winner here. Swung in towards the near post, headed away. Referee takes one look at his watch and now does blow for full time. It's on as even at the Rush Green Stadium. It's finished West Ham United 3, Brighton Hove Albion 3. A game of the proverbial two halves, of West Ham steaming into a 3-goal lead. A hat-trick for Josh Landers. 2 brilliant finishes into the corner, and then a third from close range after a good save from Niles Ramming. Well, Brighton started the second half as well as West Ham started the first, and they got going with Ntai getting his 4th of the season 5 minutes after the restart. Joe Belmont then bundled in to make it 2 when West Ham switched off from a quickly taken corner. West Ham held out all the way through until 5 minutes from time, when a brilliant first time cross from substitute Tyler Silsby was bundled in by the hip, the chest, the thigh, we don't know, but it bundled in some way beyond the goalkeeper to level the scores at West Ham United 3, Brighton Hove Albion 3. Thank you very much for Mark Phillips being alongside me. Just sum up the game for us there, Mark.
I think, in all honesty, although I am a completely biased West Ham man, Brighton deserved at least a point from the game. Their second half performance was excellent, and they dominated the second half far more than West Ham dominated the first half. So Brighton at least deserved at least a point, maybe all 3 if I'm honest. I think their style of play second half, sticking with it, being 3-0 down. Let's not forget that Josh Landers scored a very good hat-trick in the first half, and West Ham looked very good going forward. But you have to say, I often say these days, watching Premier League football, how boring it is and how sideways and backwards we play, and no one's going to bring the crowds back. Well, that game tonight will bring the crowds back. It was a very entertaining game with 6 good goals. That's how the game should be played, in the right spirit, both teams trying to win. And as I say, Brighton deserves at least a point from the game, if I'm honest.
Well, thank you very much, Mark. Thank you very much for everyone tuning in, watching us on this live stream this evening. We hope you've been as entertained as we have watching on at the Rush Green Stadium, where the final score is West Ham United 3, Brighton Hove Albion 3. I've been Dean Kilford. Thanks very much for listening.